Undermanned yet again, but this time the Toronto Raptors deliver a big-time effort as they take down the San Antonio Spurs. 117-112 is your final. Raps record now 22-34. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Raptors Night Cap. Randy Urban alongside Sherman Hamilton, Paul Jones, and the coach, Jack Armstrong. Jack, Raps missing 3 starting guards. They had to go big tonight. What impressed you most about the guys that got out there?
Go big or go home, Randy. And you know what they had tonight? I guess the word I would use, I'm stealing it from Dwayne Casey. I thought they played with force tonight. I thought they came out and played well in the first quarter. They won the first quarter. When they've won games and been at least competitive in games, they've been good in the first quarter. And Jonesy and I were laughing. Jonesy walked by me at halftime and, you know, he just kind of made the point that they didn't go, there wasn't that drought tonight. You know, they sustained, and then it got to, I think it was 81-80 with about 2.5, 3 minutes left in the third quarter. And the Spurs had gotten the lead, and the moment of truth had arrived. And from that point on, the Raptors just kicked tail and found a way to win. So, you know, when you play you think about it, Birch and Gillespie, I don't know if you could ask more than that. Quite frankly, they've gotten more from those two guys than you've seen from Baines this year, respectfully. They're more mobile. They're really effective winning 50-50 rebound situations. They go get it. They have better switchability. They get to loose balls. They're strong. They play with force. They screen hard. They can do something on the catch. I mean, to me, that was really, really impressive. And even having an Anunoby at the 2, you got more force playing there as well.
Sherman and I, Randy, looked at it at the start of the game on the radio, and I looked out there and I said, Sherman, they got some size on the floor. They do. Yeah. And again, as to Jack's point, Gillespie and Birch, and I keep thinking of, as I said it last night, in the bubble when Robert Williams III and Daniel Tice gave them trouble. Young, active, mobile, bouncy big men, or guys that play that spot. And I'm telling you, Gillespie and Birch give that to them. And to Jack's point, as we talked at halftime, there was just a kind of sustained, even effort the entire game. No blackouts. They'd go on a little run, maybe give some back, but would bend and not break. And, you know, Sherman, we talked about that on the radio. It was a pretty consistent effort tonight.
Well, I would add a couple of things to that as well. I mean, Jack, you talked about those bigs. I thought they did a great job at rim protection. And this is something that the Raptors have severely struggled with. People at the rim, and Chris Boucher, he blocks shots. But Kem Birch and Freddie Gillespie do it with size. They do it with bulk. They do it with force at the rim. It's a different type of defense in the paint when you've got to go in there and Gillespie's going up with the principles of verticality, and you're hitting his chest and you're backing off on your flight to the basket. So I just thought they did a good job of rim protection. And then this game was good from a defensive perspective. They did a great job, I thought, consistently tonight defensively. So in those moments, and at the end of the first, we saw the Spurs make a big push to take the lead, to make the game interesting. But the Raptors didn't fold. The second quarter, they came out defensively. They did a good job getting stops. And I thought they were fairly consistent defensively throughout this game. You hold a team like the Spurs to around 41%, you've done your job defensively. And even when the Spurs made their runs later in the game, the Raptors were able to sustain that because they knew they could get stops at some point and they could convert on the offensive end.
Yeah, Jack, just going back to that Gillespie play, or the play of Gillespie, and specifically, you know, DeRozan's coming at him. He gets up there to challenge that shot, probably got a block on, and then Eubanks gets the rebound. But there's Gillespie. I know he gets dunked on, but you just love that kind of effort from those guys, right?
It's true. And to tag Sherm's point, your point, I mean, Gillespie and Birch had a combined 5 blocks tonight. And I agree with that. I mean, there are certain guys that just step out of the way and they want no part of being on the poster, you know? And I like the fact that Gillespie is willing to stick his nose in there. And here's the other thing too. You know, you kind of parachute these two guys in to a situation that, you know, you're losing, and they come in with a totally different perspective. These guys are hungry. I mean, they're playing for their professional lives right now. And they just add a different element of urgency and attention to detail that kind of starts creating sparks on your team. And guys are like, yeah, you know, it is fun to play. And let's go. Let's play a little bit. And to me, there was a good chemistry tonight with this group. And hey, look, Malachi Flynn is an incomplete product by you know, and we all know that he's a young player. But there's a lot of things I like about him, and the thing I really like about him is he's fearless and he's tough, and he'll learn from these experiences. And man, he had to play a lot of minutes again tonight. So, but to me, I like the spirit that these guys played with.
And you talk about Malachi's growth, Jack, and a perfect example of that was fourth quarter. The Spurs are trying to make a game of it. They throw that press at the Raptors. He kicks the ball to OG Anunoby, and they get called for an 8-second violation. As a young point guard, you've got to learn from that immediately and understand that you don't put a teammate who's not used to being back there on a press in that kind of situation. What does he do the next time? Power dribble up the right side, kicks it straight up the court, gets it over half court, no 8-second. Nobody else has to handle the basketball. He just makes a decision that a point guard makes to take all the pressure off his teammates. We're seeing that growth in real time. And that's what's impressive about the young man. He makes a mistake and immediately he corrects it. That's not a skill that all players have, and it's good to see it from Malachi.
No, Randall, you made the point to Jack a minute ago about Gillespie. And I'll say this to bring us analogy from another sport. Home run hitters strike out. Like it's going to happen. If you're up there trying to block shots, you're going to get dunked on. That's okay. But he gets dunked on once, but he's got blocks, as Sherm talked about. He's changing shots. Guys are looking for him going in there. Where's Birch? Where's Gillespie? They know there's going to be, some contact, that the rim is going to be protected. Again, I like what this guy's done. I like with he and Birch on the floor together, you've got a little bit of size, strength, and protection. You've got some rebounding. I think they're a really nice pair, and they're not thirsty either. They're not taking bad shots. They're finishing. If you break it down and hand it to them, they'll dunk. They'll finish. They'll take, Birch will take a 12, 15, 18 footer. He might step out and take an open three, but he's not thirsty. He's not hunting his shots. You got enough guys to do that. So they fit into their role very nicely and are more than willing to play it.
Jack, speaking of roles, we got to see OG Anunoby step in at that two guard position. How do you think he fared? Obviously, leading scorer is great, but just from another perspective.
I really liked it because he just brings force. He brings toughness. And to me, I think there was a greater level of usage for him. He looked relaxed, looked like he was having fun, making the extra play. And to me, I think when you throw a guy out there and they have to do a little bit more, one, they show you some things that they can't do, unfortunately, but they also show you things they can do. And to me, I think instances like this give you a chance to evaluate OG Anunoby that much more as a player and see what his areas of strength are, his areas of weakness. A kid like Malachi Flynn, making him the lead guard and having no safety net to go to. I think from an evaluation standpoint, in particular for Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster, and Nick Nurse, when you have organizational meetings and you evaluate and grade your personnel and you assess your needs going forward, and then you sit down with players and put together the game plan for what their skill development needs to be in the offseason. These are all things that I think help. And getting to see OG in this kind of setting helps you have a better sense of how do we improve this guy that much more.
And Sherman, I know we've talked about this kid quite a bit here on this show, but Yuta Watanabe, again, 20 minutes, team high +9, shot the ball really well, shot it with confidence, just growing game by game.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but over the last few games, he's come out with more of an offensive mindset.
Yes.
And he's hunting his shot down, and I really, really like it. I mean, this guy gives so much on the defensive end from an energy perspective. He's at that point too, to your point, Jack, that he's going to show what he can do on all levels. And he's coming off of screens aggressively, and he's got good size to be a shooter that can shoot over smaller players. So with him coming off that way offensively, looking for a shot, trying to make plays on the offensive end, it's great to see, because you know you're never going to have to get on Utah to play defense. You're never going to have to charge him up to go work on the defensive end. He's going to do that instinctively. But the fact that he's trying to score the basketball is a good thing for this team, and it just creates more flow, so you're not playing 4-on-5. And I like seeing him hunt his shot down.
Mm-hmm. Let the chase begin. Orlando 115, Chicago 106, right? And so you creep a little closer in the loss column. You're looking, Van Vliet was healthy tonight, but couldn't play because of the suspension. Maybe you get Freddie back. You get another player back. People ask me, somebody threw this at me on Twitter about, the Tank Nation. And we've all talked about this. Winning is never a bad thing. Makes your organization look better. To free agents, it makes your players look better for potential trades or whatever. People are enthralled, enamored of lottery balls. Hey man, with all due respect, Sacramento, Minnesota, some of these guys been playing. They played more lotto than I have, and they still got nothing. So, and that's not a criticism of people that like to do that, because Philadelphia did it and it worked out for them. But I don't ever see where winning is a bad thing.
Two quick things. Number
last
one,
15 seconds. Go ahead.
You
Jack.
can see Chicago played lotto for the last few years, and you see what you get. The door's open for them, and they don't seize the moment. And secondly, you look at the next two games for the Raptors against Oklahoma City, Orlando and Oklahoma City at home. These are winnable games. By the end of the weekend, who knows where the Raptors will be in terms of the play-in situation. So, hey, the Bulls have given them life, and let's see what the Raptors do with it.
All right, guys. Great stuff as always. Got to stop you there. Next up for the Raptors, Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern against the Orlando Magic. We'll see you then.
Thanks for watching. You can click to watch our last episode or to subscribe to the Toronto Raptors YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode.